Going out to eat can be a great time to bond with family and friends. I remember growing up when I was little, one of my favorite things to do was going out on Saturday evening with my family to a restaurant. I remember the waiter used to come up and always take our order and always bring me crayons and a fun menu that I could color. And then after I was done with my grilled cheese and fries, it was time to go. So my family would gather their things, and as we were leaving, my dad would stay behind, and he left a $10 bill on the table, and I was questioning why he forgot some of his money behind. And little did I know that he was actually tipping the waiter or waitress because they did such a great job serving us. So throughout the years, my dad has been continually going on and on about how important tipping is, and that we should do it regularly. If you haven't heard, one of the loudest stereotypes in our society today is that Christians are poor tippers. I mean, you can't go anywhere without hearing that we're among the skimpiest. You ask any waiter or waitress. In fact, a story in a letter to the editor that was published last week by Sandra Childers. She wrote about her son, who was also a waiter and also a Christian. Now, one day when he was at a restaurant, a family left behind not a tip, but a Bible tract. He quickly chased the family down in the parking lot and handed the Bible tract back and said, "I think you need this more than I do." So there's a clear problem we have to face here. The problem is that Christians are poor tippers. Now, the statistics, if you look at them, they'll show you that this stereotype is completely false. In fact, a study done by Cornell University by Lynn and Capps shows that the average Christian tips on average 17%, which is well within the 15 to 20% acceptable range. But you may be also wondering, then how come people think we're bad tippers? Well, only 13% of this, 13% of Christians in the study were found to be poor tippers. So the stereotype obviously exists, but we must look at why. According to Gordon, she says that most poor Christian tipping has been whispered in serving circles throughout for a very long time. Sorry, I'm just going to move this for a second. Sorry, she says it's been whispered. If you ask any waiter or waitress, they'll tell you numerous stories about how they've been gypped by Christian tippers. In fact, so some of these causes, I'm going to move on to some of the causes of the poor Christian problem. According to Guy Malone in his article, Tipping Guide for Christians, he says that it's cultural ignorance. Cultural ignorance is the big reason why we are bad tippers. Let's look at some of the laws for how tippers get paid. Now, in Minnesota, there's very generous laws. In fact, waiters and waitresses get $7.25 an hour plus tips. But in many states, that's not the case, where they actually receive only $2, $3, $4 minimum wage base pay an hour, and they have to rely on these tips to support a family, hold down a second job, and to sometimes even single parents. A way that Christians easily show their ignorance is the countless stories that you'll hear of people not leaving tips but leaving Bible tracts. If you're not aware, giving someone a Bible tract is basically telling someone that, hey, you're not a person to me. You're just a notch on my belt of evangelism. So, what is a good tip? Now, Guy Malone says that, now because of our vastly different lifestyles from many bartenders or servers, he's hoping that Christians are just unaware that 15% is the expected minimum gratuity that anyone should ever leave as a tip. In fact, a good tip considered among most people would be about 20% in most moderate dine-in restaurants. So what can we do about the problem? We need to be intentional. When you're going into a restaurant, make sure you know that you're going to tip and count that as part of your cost as you're planning out how much your meal is going to be. Also, be generous. If Christ's love is really worth more than money, then how come you were being so cheap? Reach deep into your pocket and show the waiter God's love. Also, half-off appetizers does not also mean half-off tips. Make sure you tip the waiter or waitress full price, because generally at these special promotions, they're super busy and they're at their most highest stress level. Tip them all to show them that you do care. And also, we need to show them Christ's love. We need not to be rude, but be kind, and don't be demanding. Understand that their job is hard, and they're trying to serve you and the rest of the customers in the store the same way and try to treat you the very best. So we as Christians, when we go out in public, we need to know that we're not also out to enjoy ourselves, but we are also out to represent Christ's love to others. And by doing this, we need to tip more to show them that we care. And also, if you go with your friends, make sure you encourage them to tip. And if you have friends like mine, just pick up the tip for them because you know they're not going to tip more. But the solution starts with us. We can be the generation that changes this problem. So I encourage you, next time you go out to a restaurant, give 20%.